fabulous audience, and I love this place. I'm not sure what Louise could possibly have to ask you, but we'll let you ask anyways. Louise, you want to ask Karen a question?
Yes, we live in a three-story townhouse. It's 15 feet by 42 feet long, and it's open concept, so I guess it's a great day to be here. It's just that wall. There's a floating staircase, and I just find it's very long and wide, and I'm just wondering if we should divide it in three. Thank you.
Yes, and it is a gorgeous home. So I love everything you've done so far. And I think right now we just want to add a little bit of life and personality. And it is a challenge when you have, as we talked about, the open concept. How do you make this work over the entire floor? And when you're open to 3 stories, if you're doing something like wallpaper, for example, that can become very expensive. And then it's also just very hard to wallpaper over a staircase. So it's not probably something you're doing on your own. So what do you do? So a simple solution, I think, would be very dramatic, is we're going to break up behind the console that was in that front room. I think we could put a little bit of trim, a crown molding, and actually make it a bit wider than the console itself. And we could do some beautiful trees or something, maybe some chairs on either side, and then do a gorgeous wallpaper. And because we're only maybe doing a single, maybe 2 rolls at most, splurge and buy the most beautiful wallpaper you can afford that brings all sorts of colors into the room. And this could be tone on tone if you want to keep it very modern. It could be tons of colors. It could be a stripe. It could be a pattern. Basically, this is going to work like a piece of art behind your gorgeous console. But pick colors that work, again, for the whole floor, since we're treating this like one big open room.
Right.
Then what I would do, I wouldn't try and do something behind the stairs. There's not actually a lot of room. There's maybe 2 inches from the stairs off the wall. So even trying to get wallpaper in behind those stairs would just be a nightmare. So instead I would just leave it painted, because you can repaint it if it's getting scuffed with all the traffic going up and down the stairs. But what I would do in the dining room, which is at the other end of this long 42-foot wall, is where the table is. I would take the art that you now have by the console, and I would put a beautiful grouping around the table, and just something very eclectic. The frames can be different. You can go buy a few pieces that are right off the shelf. They could be even greeting cards, and then mix it with some real art. I mean, when you do that and you actually end up having this beautiful collage, having a few pieces in there that are real art and then marrying it with a few pieces that aren't makes it very affordable.
Yeah.
And it actually brings up the value of those other pieces around there. So you could have a few, you know, big box store pieces sprinkled in there, and then have some real pieces of art. And what'll end up happening is when you're standing in the space in the kitchen by the stairs and you're looking at the dining room, or you're looking at that front living room area, you're going to have balance, because you're going to have this space, and let's call it, you know, 6 feet, 7 feet wide of beautiful color. And then if you have this, you know, vignette of art at the other that's 6 feet, 7 feet wide of color, you have this great balance, but each kind of defines a room.
And so the staircase, that, you know, that's again another piece of art that you have in the room anyway. So I think, to your point, you don't want to do too much around it, because it's gorgeous. First of all, it floats in the space, and I think that does, you know, separate the space enough. And yeah. So it's...
She doesn't need walls,
No.
right?
God, no.
No. It's beautiful.
I wanted to answer the question so badly. I'm like, I know. Don't put walls up. Don't. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect the way it is. And that's going to look gorgeous.
It is.
Those 2 suggestions, that's going to be absolutely beautiful.